Hey, how you going, random stranger? I hope you've been well and that you are up for another two episodes of Girls' Last Tour, episodes 3 and 4. Last time we got some interesting new insights into both the relationship between you and Chi and also the world in which they're wandering about in this dead but surprisingly lively world. And I think what gives this show such a strange feeling is what you says about how they might be the only people left alive in the entire world, which is what it feels like. I don't know if that's the case. And furthermore, what if they are actually already dead and they're just wandering around in the afterlife, which also I think is a distinct possibility. Maybe not in the sense that they're dead spirits wandering around, but more in the sense that maybe they've already been sentenced to death given their circumstances, and what we're actually watching every episode is them walking closer and closer to their deaths, which sounds so depressing, but also I see the beauty in us as viewers getting to watch these final days of their lives, if indeed that is where this is going. So yeah, while Chi completely dismisses Yu's musings about the afterlife because she's just concentrating on making sure they don't freeze to death, it still feels like everything she's doing towards their survival is just delaying the inevitable. I hope not. Like maybe there is some miraculous happy ending that this is heading towards, but I don't know. There's just a feeling that the show gives off. Uh, and there were other interesting conversations that floated around the idea of being in the afterlife, like when they're enjoying that hot bath, and she says, "Oh, I feel like I've been brought back to life. This is paradise." And you ask, what is paradise? And she replies, ironically, the afterlife. Even the dead fish that they eat at the end, you points at it and says, these bones must feel refreshed having all the flesh cleaned off them. It's totally dead, but she's talking about it as if it's alive. And so it was really noticeable to me, all of this dialogue just slotted in everywhere that contributes to this weird stripping away of any clear delineation between being alive and being dead. I also really like how different Chi and Yu are from each other. Chi is all common sense and practicality, and Yu is just all about living in the moment. For example, like when they're walking in that melted snow water, Chi tells you to look down at the water to watch out for any sharp objects. And then Yu says instead that they should look up because the sky is so beautiful and blue. And you know what? They're both right. And the thing with these two is that despite their radically opposed views and the arguments that gets them into, they still trust each other so much, like enough for them to have survived for this long. And yeah, it was Oliver JaJaDo who pointed out that moment when she lets you use her shoulder to steady the rifle to shoot at that pipe to get at the hot water, and she wasn't scared of being hit by the ricochet. And they also commented on how it's pretty amazing how these episodes are largely built on the interactions and the dialogue between just these two characters. So Chi and Yu are perfect foils for each other, and their conversations for now follow a rather simple but effective formula. Chi starts with a long monologue trying to explain the reasons for war or the importance of books, knowledge, and memories to you and us viewers, but Yu just literally shoots her down with one single sentence, which Chi can't even counter because what Yu is saying is actually neither that stupid nor wrong, given the world they're living in, and it's up to us viewers to find our own answers to these questions too. Yeah, that was a great point about how dialogue serves to make us think about our own opinions of these things that are being raised in the show. Me personally, I think I usually agree with whatever is the midpoint between Chi and Yu's views. So, like with that conversation about the importance of books, like Chi's knowledge, which she has mostly gotten from those books, has been key to their survival and, of course, in their understanding more about this world. Like, for example, she knew the torrent of melted snow water would come out bursting from the city's ancient drainage system, and hence where they could get clean drinking water. And Chia's slight stab at you when talking about the importance of preserving memory and how people like you are why we need journals. People like you. Sorry. So that line felt like she was hinting that the reason why human civilization collapsed is because history wasn't learnt from. It's why, I guess, in our time, when remembering all of the devastation that these wars bring, especially, the two world wars that we had in the 20th century, the common refrain is lest we forget. She also talks about how memories fade, and that's why you need to write them down. And on that, Tristan de la Cruz commented, not only do memories fade, they can also change when you try to recollect or remember them. The process of remembering requires you to reconstruct knowledge or experience from possibly faded memories. The mind will try to recreate something cohesive from the memories, and it may fill the memory gaps with things that make sense to the narrative or knowledge you are trying to remember. Yep. And that is why written records are so important. Like, that comment reminded me of in law school, in our evidence courses, where we learnt just how unreliable eyewitness accounts actually are because of that tendency for the human brain to fill in the gap in a way that aligns with the existing biases of the person, such that memories can completely warp what actually happened. At the same time, Yu is also right in that, well, book burning means warmth, and she as well admits that that's what grandpa, whoever he is, and the others before them had to do that to survive as well, and that's why there's so few books left in the world. So yeah, I fully agree with the comment from Black Rose's Thorn, which says, this conversation they have is a perfect example of why I love them so much as leads. They represent two completely different schools of thought, opposing each other but balancing each other out. They're also opposite, but they kind of need each other. And yeah, interestingly, the book that she gave to you and which she subsequently throws into the fire is called Kappa. And it's actually a satirical novel about a psych patient who talks about having visited the land of the Kappa, which are these mythical creatures. And their world is very different to the human world. So, for example, fetuses have to agree to be born or not. And when asked, one of them answers, well, no thank you. The world is such a bad, insane place that I'd rather not be born. And in a way, I feel like Chi and Yu are similarly estranged from human society. Their conversations so far about how the humans of the past were and acted don't really cast humans in a great light, and they're suffering now because of the consequences of the actions of human society as a whole. And so maybe if given a choice, maybe Chi and Yu wouldn't have chosen to be born in the first place. There is, though, a sweet moment that I do want to highlight, and that is when Yu draws the apology, well, her apology in Chi's journal. And this is right after Chi says that if they keep writing things down in the journal, it'll turn into a book and hence a record of history. And so by extension, to me at least, Chi's apology and her trying to make up for not really understanding Chi's value of books is now officially recorded for posterity and is, part of the official record of history. There was also a really cool discussion in the comments and in Discord about the language that she uses or has been taught to use and to read. So from Zafran Orbian, there is an old current writing and the new writing that JaJaDo is familiar with, though it is mostly just a font change. It's natural that writing changes over time, both by change of culture and change of technology. Yeah, so Chi can't read traditional kanji at all. So actually, I'll just pull up the screenshot of the PowerPoint sign that she couldn't read. Yeah, this one right there. So that is actually written in traditional kanji. And then when I looked at Chi's diary and the writing that she uses, there are certain characters, which again I will pull up. So let's get rid of that. Here. Yeah, so there are certain characters in there that in her diary that look like simplified versions of already simplified versions of those traditional kanji characters. And it's reminded me of the difference between traditional and simplified Chinese. So, simplified Chinese was introduced in the 20th century for various reasons, like one of which was to raise the literacy rate and also to have this single unified written language. And some of our friends, because they grew up in mainland China and were raised on simplified Chinese, they can't read the traditional Chinese characters anymore. And so, back to Zafran Orbian's point, it's like you sort of lose the ability to read more complicated scripts if, say, the education system chooses to simplify it for whatever reason. And actually, another interesting point related to this, Cookie also pointed out to me something that I didn't know, which is that Japanese hiragana are all rooted in traditional Chinese characters and are essentially like simplified versions of them. So, yeah, that detail of Chi not being able to read the more traditional script was just a cool nod to what happens in real life and how language evolves over time. A few of you also mentioned to look more closely at the layout and the structure of the city that she and you are wandering around in. So, I have some more screenshots when I went back to rewatch the episode. Yeah, so let me move a bit. So it's actually very cool. You can see like these pillars that are holding up another whole layer of city. And then in another screenshot, this one, yeah, it's like you see that below where Chi and you are, there is just more sprawling city, which means that maybe before human civilization died out, the human population had developed to the point where they had to build these incredibly high up structures and or like dig deep into the earth's core to build out more subterranean cities. Essentially, they had like cities on top of cities, like a cake of cities. And I have no idea how the physics would work. Like, how would those pillars even support entire upper layers of cities? But yeah, there you go. That was very, very cool to take note of. So thank you so much. In fact, that power plant sign that Chi couldn't read read 72nd surface power plant. And so I'd originally thought that maybe there are at least 72 layers of cities. But no, so Ken in the comments, they very helpfully explained that the Japanese kanji as written implies that that's the 72nd building, not layer. And so, but who knows, like maybe there could be a total of at least 72 layers of cities just stacked on top of each other, which would be insanity, but also personally, I would find that so awesome. So yeah, I guess we will never know. Two last things, one about the OP and one about the EB. So in the OP, I noticed a lot of spirals appear. So spirals symbolize often the cycle of life, like how the old dies to make way for the new. Again, something else that's very much in keeping with Mono no Ware, which focuses a lot on this constant changing of states between life and death. There's also the point that spirals and circles are much more commonly found in nature than straight-edged shapes like squares or rectangles or triangles. And so spirals are very much associated with the natural world as opposed to like the man-made or the urban world, which is ironic given how the world that the girls are walking around in is so city-based and just so lifeless and devoid of any really natural features. And the last cool little fact is from Kenshiro Toki, who commented or mentioned that the creator of the original Girls Last Tour manga, Tsukumizu, also created the animation for the ED, which, yeah, I thought was very cool and just something awesome to note. Okay, which brings us to the first of today's episodes, episode 3. If you guys are ready to watch this, let's do it in 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, okay, no intro scene. Let's just enjoy the... Oh, I loved how the buildings, when they shoot up, they look like rifles. Also, thank you for letting me know that it is the 2 VAs who sing this OP and the ED as well. I love that. There's your spiral. Just going around the spiral on the Kettenkrad. There's music notes. I wonder if they know what music is. Look at all those spirals everywhere. There's that thing that I missed the first 2 times. The dab. I mean, I would love to get into the backstory of how they even knew about the dab. Just so many weird things that get passed down over time. Starting out with the big guns. That's a hard question. Oh my god. Imagine if they just died because you just was bored and wanted to hit Chi in the head. It's this never-ending cycle. That's such a great point though. Like, is there anything waiting for them at the end? I have a feeling there's nothing. Still about that fish. But even if there is nothing, maybe it's the journey that counts, you know? What happened? Another human? Oh no, is this gonna turn real dark? Oh man. Horror music. Oh man. Classic blackout. Wait, who's doing demolition works? How are they not dead? human? Oh god, is you just gonna shoot? He sounds normal. Oh, that's one way to do it. So there are other people. Seems nice too. Kanazawa. Oh, I love that you asked Chi about it. Not that she listened, but oh. That's the question, isn't it? Where are they going? So they're just trying to get to the upper levels. They don't actually have a destination. That you with that rifle. He's like, oh, don't mess with these girls. I love how you is so suspicious of him, which is probably smart. Always the headshot. He's just making it smoother for them. Just feels so on edge though. They've been alone for so long, like just the two of them, and now it's weird with the third person. Oh. Are they just gonna leave him there? Alive. Maybe he felt a little bit dead inside too. I mean, he wasn't able to talk for so long. Wait, were they waving goodbye to him? Yeah. Oh, no, they're okay, inviting him on. Okay. Damn, look at those pillars. Is that like a door in the pillar? Oh. I was wondering how they kept their Kenning crowd going. Hmm. Oh, humans helping each other. A connection tower. So that must be that huge pillar, right? Between the layers. Just ancient peoples. Probably to deal with like overpopulation, I guess. Sometimes the shortest way there is the longest way around. Hmm. Just can't shake the feeling that this is all going to turn horribly wrong. I wonder what happened to that bridge then. He's just going layer by layer. I'm sure Chi appreciates this idea of maps. No, it's another written record. Ah, the blush. So cute. Mm. Oh man. Another way to kill him. That is such an interesting question as well. Like, without a life's purpose, are you really living? Like, would it just be better to die? I wonder what Chi's purpose is. Yeah. Is it just surviving? Is that it? And use is just like living in the moment, right? So There are these like etchings on it. I don't know if they say anything or if it's just like the cracks over time. Oh man, so scary. They don't know that, yeah. Oh man, I don't know if I'd go on that. Oh, I can't wait for the view though. Like heaven. Oh man, gee, that's me. I don't do well with heights. Oh, okay, so the lower levels are the older ones. Right. You just fearless. Oh my god, they could fall right through those gaps. It's insane. She says, even though she's never been in one. Oh god. Oh no, the journals, the journals. His maps, actually. They're gone. Oh no. He's gonna say just let him go, eh? Well, there's the answer to that. There's the answer to Yu's question. Would you really die? Hmm. Well, that switched real quick, the mood. It's gotten pretty dark. I love how they use just the physical environment to reflect what's going on emotionally. Poor guy. Man, that's the trick, isn't it? It's like, how do you keep moving forward when there is seemingly no path to keep going? Maybe it's like in these little moments. That's what keeps you going. You is actually a genius. She notices all the little things. Photos. Again, another way of preserving memory. Oh, he's found his purpose again. That really bright place. Oh, I don't know. Oh man, I really like that episode. I enjoyed the message of how do you pick yourself up and keep going when things in the world seem just terrible and awful and it's like you've lost everything. And you with her, not surprising, I guess, she's always been like that. Like her words of wisdom of finding the beautiful things in life in the everyday, like the street lamps, for example. And her lesson that you don't really have to have an end purpose or a reason for living, you know. Sometimes it is just about taking in your surroundings and your present and enjoying that, finding the life in that. And I guess in that way, by enjoying the present, you sort of find the motivation to keep going and I guess keep working towards your ultimate purpose. Oh man, it's I don't know how they do this, just using these conversations to illustrate really important lessons. Oh, okay, that's it. Okay, if you guys are ready to go, let's go on to episode 4 in 3, 2, 1, play. Hey, there's that potato looking thing from the first episode. So creepy. I wonder if we'll ever see Kanazawa again. I don't know what is it with that thing with the eyes, because it was there right there again in the OP. Also, all of that discussion around do you actually have an end destination? Even that light that they're going towards, I don't think there's anything there. It's just gonna be nothing. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it won't matter. By the time that they reach there, they would have just realized there may be nothing in this world, but at least they have each other. Maybe that's the takeaway. That's a very cool camera. What? They didn't make that worm looking pillar was just there? Damn, look at those crumbling buildings. Just endless plains of buildings. And they do have those power lines as well. Oh, man. It's actually terrifying to see how high these buildings are. She's gonna take a selfie. There's more flashbacks. Oh no, just... So it's like since then there's just been no progress in technology, which is why they're so amazed at this. Ooh, that looks so ghost-like. Yeah, it was some kind of weird religion. Oh. They do look a bit blobby. Oh god. Of course. Damn, you've got a super strong head. Oh man. It's busted, isn't it? God, what are they? It's like on auto mode. Okay. Damn, that statue with the, like, I don't know what it was, the lines around it? The wires all coming out from it? Yeah, this one. It's kind of freaky. Oh, look at them sharing those rations and not pointing rifles at each other for the last one. Is there gonna be something in the photos that's like a clue? It's a plant. $52,004. No, 520,014. Eh? Hmm. Throwing out the power of digital tech. Okay, I can't read numbers. They're probably thinking, so weird. Why do people say cheese for photos and also eat it? Yes, and they won't be either. God, that's depressing. Take a photo of themselves so that they can last forever. Oh. Yep, it's the auto take feature. It sounds like a ticking time bomb. I love how you stepped closer to Chi to take the photo. Oh my god, that photo is probably gonna surface later on in later episodes where they're on the verge of dying. More of these weird religious worm statues. They're all staring at them. Their eyes like kind of follow them around. They're on a higher level now, so they should find more food, right? Do not have a good feeling about this. Maybe there's more people? Feels like they're going into the heart of this worm cult. It's like a temple of some sort. How do you explain what that is? A non-human entity? Some gods, maybe, you could. Oh, I love those echoing footsteps. It just shows the scale of the place. Like hieroglyphs. Don't know if she can read those. Oh, she can. So that thing that shines at night, it has something to do with death? Where did she go? She's right there. Is she staying silent on purpose? And her answers just reach for the gun. Oh no. Okay. Oh. It's the statues. There's one with hair. Looks like Chi. What is happening? Must be some kind of tech. Those all fake too, those lily pads. Yeah. Looks so like just this imitation of nature in a world that obviously has none left. You can try. Blasphemy. Mm. So to you, there's like no God. You can't eat it. It doesn't help you eat, and you can knock it down with your kitten crud. Wow, really dealing with like the existence of gods. Mm. Maybe it's more like giving people hope. You know, it's just the image of it. Mm. Just like, just give me food and that's all the comfort I need. Oh, so she is her light. That is so adorable. You're her god. Doesn't even deny it. Yo, oh man. So in like a short 20 something minutes or so, we just you don't like it's such a strange way of tackling the issue of religion and of gods and all that. Like it's through the lens of two girls who have absolutely no reference point whatsoever of what humans used to do in terms of all this religious symbolism and temples and stuff. Yeah, but because they are such outsiders to this whole concept of religion, um, it actually makes us think, like, just stop and be like, oh yeah, like, why do people create all of these religious symbolisms and imagery if, you know, it's true, no one really knows what happens after you die. It's all just, you know, either a revelation from God or just images based on the hopes of people who don't want to believe in the possibility that maybe there is nothing after death and it's all just darkness. That's so funny. Okay. Oh man, those are some great episodes. All right, so my favorite moments or takeaways from these two episodes. Episode three gave us the third human in the show that we can actually put a face to, Kanazawa. Like you, at the start, I was very apprehensive about his appearance and was just waiting for when it would all turn super ugly and there would be some kind of fight for survival. But no, actually, what ended up happening was Kanazawa was very helpful in that he detonated an entire building in order to create a bridge so they could get over that chasm, which then allows the girls to reach the connection tower and ride that makeshift lift up to a higher level. And along the way, the big question in that episode is what's the point of living if it feels like there's nothing left in the world to live for? Which is a huge question and a question I feel a lot of us struggle with, even though we don't yet live in a post apocalyptic world where most everything is dead. Sometimes things happen in our lives that cause us to despair or to feel like everything that ever gave us purpose has been taken away. And that was the equivalent of when Kanazawa loses his precious maps, the ones that he's been working on for so long, and he just wants to die. And so it was actually so heartening that the girls save him. And you, on top of that, encourages Kanazawa by saying that or pointing out that there are beautiful things all around him and that you can take comfort and joy in those while you pick yourself back up again, and just sort of recalibrate and rediscover, energy to keep moving forward, which Kanazawa thankfully does in the end. He's heartened by how the girls share their food with him and are so kind to him, so much so that he can start his map project all over again. And I guess the importance in that episode was that there can be new beginnings that spring from heartbreak and from devastation. I hope we do get to see Kanazawa again, although I wouldn't be surprised if that's the last that we saw of him. That he was probably a character whose purpose was to illuminate a bit more on what the two main girls think about life. For Chi, interestingly, she said that while she loves her journals and writing her journal, she wouldn't die if she ever lost them. She might be a bit pissed off, but not to the point of like Kanazawa wanting to commit suicide, which leads me to wonder what would want to make her die. Like, and I have a feeling it might be something like losing you. Maybe that would be the straw that would break her back. and just not want to go on living anymore. And I suspect it's a similar sort of thing for you. In the next episode, when the lights go out in that temple and Yu wonders what she'd do if she ever actually lost Chi, that showed so much how she needs Chi. Like, later on as well, it's really sweet when Yu admits to feeling at ease when she found Chi, and that she finds so much more comfort in Chi than all of those worm statue gods and the fake flowers and the fish. It feels like the show is conveying this message that while religions and all of the huge impressive temples and buildings that humans build to house gods in can give some measure of comfort in a world that is cruel and uncertain, often true comfort and the reason why we can keep on going is because of the connections that we make with actual people in our lives. That at the end of the day, when you're wandering around in the metaphorical dark, if you have someone who cares for you and whom you can rely on to have your back, it just makes life so much easier to face, even though things might still be very difficult. In terms of religion, I don't think the episode was saying that religion is useless. It's more that there's only so much that physical buildings and mysticism and symbolism can do to satisfy that very human need for connection. Like in Christianity, for example, there's a saying that the church is not actually the building, but it's actually the people who gather together to worship and who care for each other. My other favorite development was how Chi and Yu figured out how to use the camera. Cameras are, if you think about it, like a tool for preserving the past in pristine condition. Provided nothing happens to the camera, it's as she says, like the photos you take last forever, even though the things in them may not. Which is why I felt so sad when they take that cute photo together using the timer feature, because it just felt like a foreshadowing that this journey we're on with the girls will end in a place where the photo will still exist, the one that they just took, but neither of them will actually be alive. And we know that, all humans eventually have to die, and whether or not that happens in a natural way for Chi and Yu remains to be seen. But I'm so invested in these girls already that I would be really sad if where this is all going is death, which, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised at, because I think it would be a poetic way to end this show. Like, I'm really enjoying their musings and conversations about life and what it means to really live. That even if they died at the end of this show, we'd have the memories of them enjoying all of the little things and each other's company, which is really the ultimate takeaway of Girls' Last Tour, right? That life eventually ends, but that doesn't mean there's no beauty in it. All right, that is it for today's reaction. I do plan on watching 2 episodes at a time from now. Life has been slightly crazy lately, so I'm going to take whatever time I do have to put out more reactions. And in any case, I will be around to chat about these episodes, and hopefully the next reaction won't take so long. So until then, guys, take care.